When I initially debuted this series, I believed an episode a month should be enough to showcase the deals on current and upcoming releases I have on my radar. After all, they're not called micro brands for their ability to flood the market, right? Well, wrong. Every day I spend researching new brands and new models keeps adding to an already alarming number of bookmarks, to the point choosing 6 watches I want to present is harder than making the video about them. So I'll just have to keep at it. We're starting off today with a New York-based Kingsbury. Looking at the current lineup, it's quite easy to understand how they managed to stay in business for 7 years. Classic design and outrageously low prices. I was initially intrigued by the dressy Ambassador with its rather original approach to the classic tank. Perhaps a little oversized at 35 by 47mm, this Seiko-powered automatic watch presents itself as a dressier option to those of us with larger wrists and looks very well balanced with its 2-volume body and an original dial that I particularly like. Those that like this watch, however, should consider moving quickly as the stocks are getting really low. However, there's another Kingsbury watch I like even more, the MS4 Regiment. Heavily inspired by the military watches of the Second World War, this 39mm watch still manages to look modern thanks to both a rather busy dial and an interesting case where the thicker lugs create a squarish silhouette. I also like the alternation of brushed and polished surfaces, which remind me of Vario's latest 1945 watch, and I love the textured big screw-down crown. If I had to point to one negative, it would be that while I am a fan of crosshair dials, I personally wouldn't have chosen to extend the vertical line beyond the text on either side of the pinion. Still, an original design with fantastic specs for $189 is a very attractive proposition. Should you decide to buy the next watch on the list, you might want to grow a mustache, as this is the reincarnation of a watch worn by Mr. Magnum himself. Since 1980, Momentum have had their focus on building tool watches, and today's portfolio is made of some really rugged pieces. While there are some interesting automatic options available, particularly the stunning M30, the main body of work in Momentum's repertoire consists of classic quartz and solar-powered watches, and 2 of their best sellers are now on a pre-order 15% discount that will only last till 1st of July. If the Ronda-powered C-Quartz 30 is too flashy for you, then perhaps the Black Ops styled solar-powered SQ30 might be more to your liking. You would lose the Tom Selleck connection, but you would wear the watch Sylvester Stallone wore in Rambo 3. Both watches should wear compact at 42 by 47mm, but it should be noted the solar mechanism adds more than a millimeter to the height of the iron-plated variant. If, however, you're looking for a dress watch, the next entry will be more likely to float your boat. Previously known as Millennial, Montage's latest shot at fame was what some reviewers were quick to hail as the best dials amongst microbrand divers. Aptly named Diver, the 70s inspired watch is still available on their website and boasts fantastic specs for a $350 timepiece. It's the gorgeous fume dials that are the stars of the show, and the show is now taken to the ballroom with the second iteration of the Prestige. I managed to find media depicting the first edition, and I have to say I'm impressed with the refining process the watch went through, as they addressed all but one of its flaws. Hands are now longer, markers are thinner, AR coating was applied, and the straps were upgraded with butterfly clasps. Unfortunately though, the diameter remains 40mm, which for a watch with such ample dial estate and a formal destination is 2mm too big. Fortunately, Montage have also retained the Miyota 9015, and that alone takes this $250 watch a couple of steps above the Orient Bambino it competes against on the Fumet dial dress watches market. A different, extremely crowded market is the GMT one, and the next 3 entries in today's episode will be the latest players to enter the game. First up is Sweden's Nezumi studio. For those unfamiliar with this microbrand, I believe it's worth emphasizing their voiture was one of the best mecha quartz chronos in the world, and as a result, it quickly sold out. A similar fate surely awaits their newest watch, the Aviera. Bearing all the trademarks of rugged toolmaking, this one seems to be the child of Christopher Ward's Sealander and Gruppo Gamma's Venturo 3, which, by the way, I have previously reviewed on the channel. There's some form over function, unfortunately. I initially was disappointed the fixed steel GMT bezel wasn't lumed, as I believe one should be able to use this complication at night as well. On closer inspection, I was elated they doubled the 24-hour scale on the chapter ring, adding lume to it, and I started feeling regret the bezel will not rotate to help you track a third time zone. Then I felt confused and almost angry, realizing the GMT hand bears not a single drop of lume, rendering the chapter ring markings useless. The watch is a stunner though, and looks like a classic. Plenty of lume on next watch's bezel though, and I'm not at all surprised. VanBanner's Parking Master 2 is renowned for the liberal application of lume, and the Canadian microbrand's GMT has picked off right where the sold out diver left. A droid comes with textured black or blue sandwich dials and some issues that customers are not likely to be forgiven of, despite the microbrand's efforts to fix them. The most visible of its flaws is the asymmetrical date window, which will be less visible in the production model as the black on white will be replaced with a white on black. I don't really mind the push-pull crown, but I'm rather pissed at VanBanner's suggestion this type of crown ensures better interaction with the caliber than a screwed down crown does. It doesn't. Finally, the bracelet's dual finish does well to complement the finishing of the head, but opting to go with a butterfly clasp is one decision that might come to haunt the microbrand. Still, the $300 price tag should be tempting enough for some to overlook these flaws. What do you think? Is this a droid or maladroid? Finally, the last entry on today's program is dedicated to the under 7-inch wrists, as Alexander James watches never measure more than 38mm. There's a total of 6 different configurations based on colors, indices and chapter ring configurations, and the price is a flat $300 for each one. As noted, the case is a modest 37.5 by 45mm and has all the goodies we have come to expect from a microbrand. Ceramic bezel, sapphire crystal, a decent bracelet, all of which you can buy from Seiko at minimum twice the price. Well, this is it. I'm working against the clock editing tomorrow's video, so no wise conclusion to this one, except buy the watch you want.